Hey you guys, how are you? So I thought it would be a good thing to do a tutorial on how to change your part on your lace closure. I actually have a lace closure in right now that I've had in for about 3 weeks. So I have been changing it from a middle part to a side part on this side. I actually want to change it to a side part again. Okay, so I actually want to do it in this area here. So I'm going to show you how to do that, a simple way of doing that. And this video will not be too much of me talking, but I am going to explain the products that I'm going to be using. So what I like to use to change my part, a lot of times when it's a fresh closure and you know, it's no part in there at all, you have to create one. I like to use the Nairobi, okay, the Nairobi foam wrap to actually do that. So I spray, or actually spray a pump of this in my hand and kind of get it into the part area. Spray it all in the part right here. You don't need a lot. And then I kind of mold it. So a lot of stylists, they do use this foam wrap to set styles. So that's what we're gonna do today. Occasionally I would go in with the Got to Be Freeze spray, and that's just to give it kind of a hold so it can kind of hold the lace closure, the new part that you've created, but you don't necessarily need this, okay? This is optional. So what I'm going to be doing is to actually show you that you can only use the Nairobi foam wrap to actually hold that part that you just created. And then you will need a comb. So you can use any type of comb just to, you know, see what kind of part that you want to create with your lace closure first, just to get a feel for where you want to place it. You will need a brush, okay, with a little bit of harder bristles to it, because you want to kind of mold it a little bit for your part that you're going to create. And then after that, to set it, since you did you know, put that foam in there, you need to set it. I like to set mine overnight, so I do this at nighttime, you know, for the most part. And I like to use a scarf, okay? So I put it on there, put the foam and where I need to set it, and then I place, you know, the wrap over my head overnight. I would suggest at least 4 to 6 hours to set the hair, just to make sure that the hair is, or the, you know, the part where you sprayed the foam at, to be completely dry, so that way that you know that it's set to where you like it to be, okay? So I'm not going to talk during this video. I'm actually going to show you how I actually do this, okay? So hey you guys, I'm actually going to show you how to do this in real time. So right now what I'm going to do is go ahead and part the hair where you want it to actually lay from your previous part. I actually had a middle part. I'm not a fan of middle parts, just not on me. I actually like the side part better, even with my natural hair. So what I'm doing is going ahead and sectioning off where I want the middle part to be on my lace closure. So you can actually use a rat tail comb if you wanted to. I just chose to use an all-purpose comb and actually part it off, comb it in the direction that I wanted it to actually lay. And also when you change your middle part, it's going to be a little hard to actually keep it in that direction until you actually mold it. So I'm just looking to see if that's the direction where I want it to actually lay, and adjusting it to my liking, which you can do actually the same. I'm not a fan of having a perfect part when it comes to side parts, especially when I have a lace closure. It looks more natural to me, in my opinion, to have it not as perfect. So you actually just kind of see me adjusting it to see if it fits my face and all of that jazz. I'm kind of playing with it in a way, so it may take you about maybe 2 or 3 partings. It just depends on where you want it to lay for your side part, or wherever you want it your lace closure to actually go. Then I'm going to take my Nairobi foam. I love this stuff. You don't need a lot. You only need about 1 or 2 pumps for this step, maybe 3, to actually lay the foam into the part area. So you'll see me actually laying it on both sides, but actually in that part area, so you can have the hair to actually lay down. So you'll see me placing it there, and then you'll see me using my brush to kind of brush it in each direction in a few moments. Just so I can get that mold in there. I've used this technique with just water. With just water, it doesn't really hold as much as I would like it to, because the foam gives it that hold that I'm looking for the part area. And then what I'll just do is just sleep with like a silk wrap on at night. So you'll just see me brushing it to where I want it to lay. And you don't need much, guys, for this step at all. And then I'm going to take my wrap and actually fold it into about maybe 2 sections, because this is a short silk wrap that I am using. So I'll actually put it over the part area that I've created. And then I'm tucking the hair behind my ear, because I don't want to create a lot of lines in the hair, because that'll mean that I'll have to like straighten it out in the morning. So I'll kind of tuck it behind my ear and around my hairline for the wrap. And I don't suggest doing it very tightly, because once you wake up in the morning, you'll have you could have a headache from doing this. But you want to make sure that it's tight enough to where the hold will actually stay in place. Okay, and then you actually leave this on for about maybe about 4 to 6 hours is what I've noticed is good for me. It just depends on the density of the hair that you actually have on the closure as well. This is Indian hair, so it doesn't take long for Indian hair to actually dry, whether you have a foam on top of the lace closure or water, because it has a slight density to it. Okay, so hey you guys, I have just actually taken my scarf off, and this is how, you know, my hair has molded. So I'm actually, I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. You can pretty much see it, but what you can't see is that the hair, some of the hair, because I put the foam on the hair, and in my part area, it is, when you take it out of a set or a mold, it will be a little crunchy feel because it has set. So I actually set my hair for about 5 to 6 hours. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take a paddle brush. You can use a comb, but I recommend not using a comb because it does leave more tension on the closure, and you want to be careful with this part to not, you know, put too much stress on your closure by combing it out. It's not like a big crunchy like type of feel that it's very harsh on the hair, but it will have some hold to it because the foam has hold. So what I'm going to do is just lightly brush the hair out of that mold that it's set with. Okay, so at this part, I'm just worried about the closure part where that foam was. So I'm like just brushing the hair away. Alright, so that is my new part that I've created. I've never worn my hair on this side, my closure on this side before, so I was able to create one. So if you did have your part in the middle or on the other side, you probably will have to recurl it so it can blend in more with your bundles. But that's pretty much it, you guys, that you would have to do. Alright, so what I'll probably do is kind of go in and just give myself that nice little bump that I like. And I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. So it is really nice and flat, you guys, okay? And then to maintain it, what I do recommend, you guys, is to wrap it again. You're not going to wrap it with foaming lotion because we don't want to put, once you do this step of, you know, having your part created, all you really have to do is, if you're going to keep the same part, is to sleep with the same scarf around your closure. Just because you don't want to put a bonnet on necessarily, because I know I'm the type of person that rolls around in my sleep. So I kind of like sleep on my face all over the place, and I do notice that when I don't sleep with a wrap and a bonnet on, my hair can like bunch up, like the closure can bunch up. And when we're wearing closures, we want to make sure that it's laying flat as possible, and you don't have like this cone shape at the top of your head if you don't wear a wrap around your closure and a bonnet, okay, to protect your bundles. So if you have any questions for me about this technique, just leave them down below in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.